It's easy to think that tons of lights and complicated gear is what you need to make your shots look cinematic. But the truth is, it doesn't have to be that way. I'm going to show you a setup so simple, it'll instantly give your shots that professional cinematic look without overcomplicating things. I've been a DP for over a decade, lighting everything from short films to music videos, and this is the same approach I use on real sets. In this video, I'll break down the setup, show you where to place your lights, and explain why it works so you can use it on your next shoot right away. An important detail that's often overlooked in lighting is a catch light. If you don't know what that is, it's that little spark of light in your subject's eyes. Now, this is important because without it, your subject can look lifeless or even a little creepy. And to show you in real time, this is our subject with a catch light. And if I was to remove it, this is without. It's such a small thing, but it makes a huge difference. Now here's a tip. The larger your light source, the bigger the catch light in your subject's eyes. So a small LED panel, for example, will give you a small dot of light in the eye, but a big soft source, like the one we used here, will give you this large reflection that instantly draws your attention, the viewer's attention, to them. If you were to go back and watch your favorite movies or even TV shows, you'll almost always notice some form of catch light. Sometimes it's large, other times it's subtle, but it's part of why you can feel a connection to an actor on a screen, especially for an emotional moment. So in this setup, we didn't just want our subject lit. We wanted them to feel alive and present in the moment, because contextually for this music video, it made sense for the story. Let's talk about skin tones. Hard light has its place, but 9 times out of 10, if you want your subject to look flattering, you go with soft light. Soft light wraps around the face more, it smooths imperfections, and it creates that dreamy cinematic look so many of us chase, including myself. Now in this example, for this music video, we used a book light. That's where you bounce a light into a surface and then push it through diffusion. For this scene, we used an aperture 300x on a C-stand, bounced it into a 3x3 floppy bounce, and then pushed it through 2 layers of diffusion. What this gave us was a large, soft light source. And here's an important note. The softness of your light isn't just about the fixture or just about the diffusion you use. It's about the size of your light source relative to your subject. Now, I won't get too deep into this, but a small light close to your subject can look soft, but the same light far away becomes more harsh. You also need more output, but that's a topic for a different day. So when you want nice, soft skin tones, think large source, close to your subject. Now, after we had the key light set, which is our main light source, we needed separation from this busy background. That's where a hair light comes into play. A hair light helps carve your subject out of the background. Think of it like the outline in a drawing. It defines shape, it adds dimension, and in filmmaking, it tells the viewer this is the person or thing you should be looking at. Without it, your subject can blend into your scene, especially if the scene is busy or dark like the one that we had here. For this, we used an Amaran 100XS on a junior boom. We also paired it with a small softbox. Sticking with the theme of separating your subject from the background, let's talk about color contrast. One of the easiest ways to make a shot cinematic is by mixing warm and cool tones. This works so well because our eyes are naturally drawn to 2 things. The first is the brightest part of an image, and the second is contrast. And this isn't just an opinion of mine, it's literally how our minds work. So in this setup, our key light was set to 5600 Kelvin, and to better match the lights at the location, the hair light was set to a very warm 2500 Kelvin. It's also worth noting that the camera was set to match our key light at 5600 Kelvin. The warm hair light against the cooler key gives us dimension, contrast, and helped further pull our subject away from the background. For color contrast in general, you don't need to go crazy with colored gels, but you totally can if you want to. But simply mixing warm versus cool works so well because it taps into how our brains process light. Next up is negative fill. This is one of the biggest tools/techniques beginners overlook. Everyone's so focused on adding more lights, especially when these lighting companies won't stop advertising to us. But sometimes the best move you can make is actually taking light away. In this setup, we placed a 4-foot black flag on camera right, opposite of our key light. This did two things. First, it absorbed light fill from our key, and second, it blocked natural window light that was spilling into our scene and onto our subject. That window light was also cooler in color, so it didn't match the look we were going for. That single 4-foot flag wasn't quite big enough to block all that natural light that was coming in, so our grip held up a smaller black flag to cut the rest of the light. Using negative fill is like sculpting the shadows in your scene. And the absolute best part about it is you don't need expensive gear at all. While I do have this brand name 4-foot flag, most of the negative fill I use is a combination of black curtains, thick poster board, and just leftover scrapped duvetine. Finally, we have to talk about camera placement, because how you light something is also dependent on where your camera is. In this shot, I chose to shoot on the shadow side of the subject. That means the camera is facing the darker part of their face or opposite of my key light. This adds dimension and gives your subject more contrast. Of all the lighting tricks you can do to get a quote-unquote cinematic image, shooting on the shadow side of your subject is the fastest and easiest way to achieve it. Now, you don't need the exact gear I have to achieve this look. So let's break down in a more general sense what you can do to light like a cinematographer while still using the principles I used for this image. First, use a large, soft light source to get soft skin tones and a catch light in your subject's eyes. Then separate the subject from the background with a hair light behind them. And as a bonus, you can even add more color separation using color contrast, like a cool key light coupled with a warm backlight or hair light. Then add contrast to your subject using negative fill on the opposite side of your key light. And finally, shoot on the shadow side of your subject, which is the last piece in taking a plain setup and turning it into something more cinematic. At its core, this is simple and exactly how you can light like a cinematographer without a complicated setup or tons of gear. If you try this approach on your next project, let me know what you think of your results. If you enjoy filmmaking topics such as this, consider subscribing. And if you want to see these techniques used on another shoot, check out this video right here.